Okay, let's talk about the PEAR process. So it's project management. It assumes that you already have at least one person who is willing to embrace somewhat of a leadership role. So that's you. You're the catalyst. If this is your idea, then it's important that you be willing to own that, at least to get the project off the ground, and that you care enough about the idea to be willing to be in a catalyst position for at least the conceptual phase. PEAR stands for placement, events, action, and relationships. The PEAR process helps you get the job done with fewer meetings. Even though meetings can be a wonderful way to build friendships and relationships, they also can be a wonderful way to kill momentum for a project. So it's important that meetings happen more in an evaluation phase, but in the implementation phase, you want to spend your time together actually working on the project, not just talking about the project. And PEAR process also promotes shared leadership because it's based on mutual trust. It's based on when somebody says, yes, I'm going to do something, they're really going to do it. And so by the same token, if you're not really going to do the thing, it's important that you don't say yes to it. Because if someone doesn't follow through, then it can sort of frustrate the process. Anyway, without going too much into what could go wrong, let's go with what could go right. So placement, events, action, and relationships.
It's important that you've refined your smarter goals before you begin the PEAR process. So quick review: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, relevant, time-bound, ecological, and rewarding. So give your goals another once-over and tighten them up, and then begin the process. So the P stands for placement.
So permaculture is a placement science, and this implementation process is very much about moving stuff around.
So we go with our maps and our boundaries, and that's what initiates the flow of events.
Plan your project based on where you are and where you will place yourself, where you will place others, and where you will place resources. If you think about your project through that lens, it becomes more easy to break it down into bite-sized chunks.
E stands for events. So you build your timeline out from these basic milestones. Establish the milestones based on due dates, celebrations, natural cycles like winter, or if you're having a baby, or if the crops are coming in, you want to build events around those cycles. And also just your desires. How quickly do you want to get this project done? How much time do you want to spend on it?
So focus on the events that need to occur. Now is not the time to get into the ideology of what you're going to do. That should have already happened. And right now you're going to think about actual events that are going to occur in space and time.
The next step is action.
Now you do the work.
In between each of those milestones, you place a bunch of tasks, and each of those tasks can later be broken down into mini tasks after they've been delegated to the person who's going to do the work. So you can use your zone mapping, you can use a scale of permanence, you can use your milestone timeline to brainstorm this master list of tasks and then add them onto the timeline in a realistic fashion according to when they're actually going to occur. You can assign tasks before you place them on the timeline, or you can place them on the timeline and assign them according to who's going to be available.
So then the R is relationships. Placement, events, action, relationships. The R is about choosing clear roles that are appropriate to your skill set and to your commitment level, to your boundaries.
Step number 1, assign tasks to people according to what they want to do, what they feel creative about. Step number 2, there will be a list of leftover tasks that nobody really wants to do, but everybody can, so you delegate those out, or you cross them off the list and change the project accordingly. Step number 3 is communication, follow through. That's what makes everything happen. As I said at the beginning of this video, if you don't follow through, your project can't really happen. Sometimes people are waiting on the next person to get the job done, and that's actually a really nice way to set up your communication network. You can do a relay style workflow like this. For example, I finished my task, I emailed Jane. Jane's been waiting to hear from me. Now it's ready for her to do her task. She does hers. When she's done, she emails Jill, and so on.
And then rinse and repeat, because ideally you've broken down your project into bite-sized chunks and you're using this process to implement each chunk. So that's the PEAR process. I hope that it makes sense to you and it's really, really useful and helpful. And I'll talk to you soon.